Everyone says Hollywood is dead. Like, finished. Over. Not worth visiting anymore. So we decided to come here and see for ourselves. And I'll be honest, when we first arrived, it wasn't exactly proving people wrong. But then something happened. So we decided to spend a full day here and see what Hollywood actually has left. No Walk of Fame stuff, no tourist traps, just the places locals still go, the places with real history, and the spots that make Hollywood feel like Hollywood again. By the end of the day, we'd gone from thinking Hollywood might actually be finished to realizing it might still be one of the most entertaining neighborhoods in Los Angeles. And the first place we went completely changed our opinion. If you're starting a day in Hollywood, the first place you should come is Griffith Observatory. Technically, it sits just above Hollywood in the hills, but this is the view that explains the entire city. When you get up here, you can see everything. Downtown LA stretching out in the distance, the massive sprawl of Los Angeles disappearing into the horizon, and of course, the Hollywood sign sitting right behind you. And the best part is, it's completely free. You can just walk up here, explore the observatory, hang out on the terraces, and take in one of the best views in California. But the real magic happens around sunset, when the sun drops behind the mountains and the entire city slowly lights up. Watching LA transition from day to night from up here is one of those moments that actually makes you stop and realize how big and impressive this city really is. But views alone don't make a neighborhood interesting. So next, we went looking for somewhere that still had that old Hollywood energy. And we found it inside one of the most historic restaurants in the entire city, Musso Frank Grill. This place opened in 1919, which means it's been around longer than most of the film industry itself. Walking inside honestly feels like stepping back in time. The interior hasn't really changed. Red leather booths, dark wood paneling, a long bar serving classic cocktails. Waiters in jackets who have probably worked here longer than some restaurants have existed. This was the place where writers, actors, and directors used to sit for hours, drinking martinis and arguing about movies. And if you're coming here, there's really only one thing you should order: a martini. They make them strong, classic, and exactly the way you'd expect an old Hollywood martini to taste. After that, we wanted something a little more chaotic, because Hollywood has always been about nightlife, and that's when we ended up at one of the most famous dive bars in Los Angeles, Barney's Beanery. If you want to see where Hollywood people actually hang out, this is the place. Barney's has been here since the 1920s, and it feels exactly like the kind of dive bar that somehow never changed. Inside, you've got pool tables, sports playing on TVs, huge burgers coming out of the kitchen, and drinks being poured non-stop. The walls are covered in decades of history and stories. Rock stars drank here, comedians hung out here, actors, musicians, writers, anyone working around Hollywood at some point ended up here. And the best part is, it still feels exactly the same. No pretension, no fancy cocktail menus, just burgers, beers, pool tables, and a lot of character. But then we realized something. Hollywood's entire identity has always been built around entertainment. So if Hollywood really was dead, the first place you'd notice would be the comedy clubs, which is why our next stop was the Comedy Store. The Comedy Store might be the most famous comedy club in the world. This stage has seen some of the biggest names in comedy history: Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. And if Hollywood had really lost its energy, you'd expect somewhere like this to feel empty. But when we arrived, it was packed. People lining up outside, multiple shows happening in different rooms, a full crowd inside ready to watch stand-up. And the crazy thing about the Comedy Store is you never know who might show up. Big comedians still drop in unannounced. You can go on a random night and suddenly someone famous walks on stage. And when the room fills up with people laughing, you realize something. Hollywood still knows how to entertain people. But there was one more stop we had to make, because just down the road sits one of the most legendary music venues in the world, the Whiskey A Go-Go. If you know anything about rock music, you've probably heard of this place. The Doors played here, Led Zeppelin played here, Guns N' Roses played here, Motley Crue played here. This tiny venue on the Sunset Strip helped launch some of the biggest bands in rock history. And the wild thing is, it's still open, still hosting live music, still bringing people out to the Sunset Strip. Standing outside it, you realize something. Hollywood history didn't just happen decades ago. It's still happening. And before leaving Hollywood, there's one last place worth stopping: the Hollywood Bowl Overlook. It's one of those quick pull-off viewpoints most visitors completely miss. But the view from here is incredible, especially at night when the entire city lights up beneath you. It's the perfect place to end a night in Hollywood. Now, before we wrap up, here are a few extra places worth pinning on your map if you're visiting. Runyon Canyon for hiking and celebrity spotting, Lake Hollywood Park for one of the closest views of the Hollywood sign, For the Win if you want one of the best smash burgers in Los Angeles, and Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which sounds strange but actually hosts outdoor movie nights and concerts. So, is Hollywood dead? Honestly, we don't think so. If you only come here for the obvious tourist stuff, it might feel that way. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find legendary bars, historic restaurants, packed comedy clubs and music venues that are still part of LA's culture. Hollywood didn't die. It just moved slightly off the main street. And if you've got a favorite Hollywood spot we didn't mention, drop it in the comments. Because if enough of you suggest the same place, we'll come back and do a deep dive on it next. See you in the next one.